This happened close to a week ago. I'm 28, and this is one of the most horrific experiences of my life. My father worked as a security guard for Freddy Fazbear's Pizza 3 since he was 22, and I decided that after that place closed down 30 years ago, I would take his place. Fazbear's Fright, the horror attraction, was just about to open, and they needed me to watch over the place for a few weeks while people passed through the entire haunted attraction from the north exit and leaving through the south one, which happened to be right next to my office. I heard that there were no animatronics at all in the establishment the first night from the phone man, whose line of dialogue was as follows. Hey, it's me, the phone guy. Welcome to Fazbear's Fright, the horror attraction, and you're here to watch the security cameras and make sure no one comes in and making out in a dark corner of the place. There's no animatronics walking around here tonight, like you might know happened in the last establishments, so your night tonight is gonna be pretty easy. Have a good time. He hung up the phone. It turned out that the phone man was right. By the time 6 a.m. came along, I was able to leave the establishment calmly, but the thought of walking animatronics kept popping up in my head. Night 2. Phone man called me again, saying something along the lines of, hey, welcome back. It's so good to be here with you. I have some awesome news for you. You ain't gonna believe this. We found an animatronic. A real animatronic. You'd better watch out. I think his name is Springtrap, and he isn't in a good mood. Keep an eye on that ventilation, check the cameras, and play audio to distract Springy Boy from getting to you. Anyways, if you do that, you should be golden. As you may think I'll say, have a nice night. See you on the flip side. Right away, I felt unnerved. Who was Springtrap? What does phone man mean, a real animatronic? Are there some kinds of ghosts living here? I'm really nervous. Anyway, I kept at the progress, eventually leaving again once 6 a.m. came around. Everything changed on night 3. Phone man once again called me. His line of dialogue wasn't much different, other than one thing: Springtrap is more aggressive tonight, and wants anyone he sees dead. Oh no, I thought to myself. Springtrap's mad? I hope there's some kind of door for me to close. Right away, I did notice a door button on the wall next to the doorway, and pressed it. A giant door slid out from the wall, and right away heard banging on the door after closing it. Is that Springtrap? I didn't know. I lifted the monitor panel, and saw the most horrifying thing I had ever seen before. A giant rabbit animatronic thingamajigger had its face right up in the monitor screen, eyeball visible up close and all. Horrified, I pulled the monitor down. The Springtrap creature thing walked to the window in front of me and pointed its finger at me. I was too scared to do anything, and just kept staring at it, until it walked away. I was relieved, until I checked a vent camera and saw Springtrap in it. Right away, I sealed the vent, but not before getting a look at the macabre and horrific thing crawling in the vent. Springtrap was a dark green creature with many rips and holes in his body, and opening his mouth, there was what appeared to be a man's head. How come I've never seen that before? Is it just someone wearing a suit, trying to mess with me? I doubted it. Given that the man's head didn't move an inch, I was skeptical that he was just trying to mess with me. I toggled the camera map and looked around for the other animatronics, finding nothing but a whole bunch of broken down relics of the old animatronics. That is, until I hit Cam 08, when I got there, I saw some kind of puppet creature, which suddenly appeared just before my eyes. Even though I kept trying to look away from it, it wouldn't let me take its eyes off of it. It finally disappeared, and I took the opportunity to blink a few times. Eventually, 6 a.m. came around, and as I walked out to the exit, I saw Springtrap standing right in front of the door. I screamed as loud as I could. He tried to grab me now, but I managed to kick the robot in the crotch before I ran for it. Looking behind me, I saw the thing chasing me. I managed to escape safely before the creature could get me, with only a few seconds to spare. Night 4 was very hectic. Phone man once again called me, and none of his dialogue was anything new, before I started hearing loud footsteps coming from the background of the call. Phone man asked who's there, before hearing a blood-curdling scream and then what sounded like some kind of dark, demonic voice saying, "Once I finish up with this fucking ass you're in big trouble," before the call closed. I was horrified at what may have happened. Phantom Puppet once again appeared after accidentally triggering it to appear when I was flipping through the monitors and saw it. The same stages repeated until it once again disappeared, and that time Springtrap was standing right in the doorway to my office, peering in. I tried closing the door on him, but he managed to lift the door. Horrified, I jumped into the vent as he walked into the office, grabbing my leg before I could fully make it through the vent and telling me there was no escape. I grabbed my phone and turned the flash on, taking a picture of the beast to blind him. I seized that opportunity to escape Springtrap's grasps and run through the vents, running around the wall, back to the doorway, and pushed the door button to close it and trap Springtrap in the office. It was seemingly successful, but Springtrap managed to escape through the vents after me and eventually catch me, telling me, "It was a good try, but not good enough. I will now kill you and take my revenge against you for what you did to me last night." I panicked and told him he wouldn't do anything. Springtrap was truly a big brute. He was like a full head taller than me, and his feet weren't covered by plastic fur, instead being wedge-shaped pieces of bare metal attached to the rest of his legs via an endoskeleton leg. He pulled his suit's head up, revealing the head of the man I saw, and I screamed when I saw the horror in the man's face. Springtrap then closed his head, telling me that the man he just showed me was deceased. Horrified, I tried running from Springtrap, knowing he is a killer and that he stuffs the corpses of his victims into his body. That's at least what I thought. However, he grabbed my ankle, telling me I can't escape him and that he doesn't stuff his body with his victims, but instead the one man inside of his body was killed inside the suit while wearing it due to a malfunction of spring locks. I ran back through the vents after kicking at Springtrap, sealed the vent, and kept the door closed, to the Green Rabbit dude's fury. 6 o'clock was thankfully not that far off at the time of the attack, however, so shortly after I saved myself from Springtrap's grasps, I was able to leave safely. Night 5 was the most nightmarish. Thankfully, though, it was the last night I was gonna be there. After walking in, the phone man didn't call me this time. I was worried about what happened to him, but I had much more to worry about than just that. A freakish-looking version of Freddy Fazbear was seen walking by the window, and watched in astonishment as it passed along and then ducked down, before it suddenly reappeared in front of me and scared the blinking daylights out of me. I fell back, unconscious, looking at the phantom version of Freddy as a huge mistake. I woke up moments later, seeing a phantom of Foxy the Pirate now standing in the office, and being smart, I looked away and blinked. Just like that, it was gone. It couldn't have been real. I was hallucinating. However, now I had to recover the ventilation system thing in the maintenance panel I saw, and I did without hesitation, fearing what would happen if I didn't. Springtrap was nowhere visible on any of the cameras, though. Checking the vent cameras, he wasn't in there either. Looking through all the cameras one more time to clarify seeing what I was seeing correctly, I really didn't see Springtrap at all. Just like that, everything in the building suddenly went dark and silent. I mean, the power in the horror attraction just shut out. I checked the now much darker cameras for any signs of Springtrap there, but still didn't see him. Am I going crazy? Just a quick note, this was at the time I was running on 7 hours of sleep. I hadn't slept all day, and seeing that the power was out and Springtrap was apparently missing, I decided to close the door, barricade the vent, and go to sleep. Unfortunately, though, that was a stupid idea. Springtrap somehow managed to get into the office, and drag me out with him while I was crashed out. I know that Springtrap kidnapped me, because I woke up in some other random room, which soon happened to be the north exit, and Springtrap was standing in front of me, telling me that I should consider myself lucky that I'm still alive. I'm still afraid to think about what that meant, because Springtrap never said anything about it. Springtrap then turned around, and when his back was turned, I prepared to take the opportunity to sneak out past him and out the door. I tried pushing and pulling it open, neither worked. Springtrap locked the door. I ran down the hallway, to the south exit, but that was locked too. Thankfully, Springtrap never checked my pockets, because my keys to the place were in them. Springtrap didn't notice me having escaped his grasps, but he managed to locate and approach me quickly. I ran down the hallway, Springtrap close behind me, just about touching me. I managed to unlock and open the south exit door quick enough for me to run out of it, slamming it shut behind me. I locked the door right afterwards, got in my car, and sped down the roads to the police station, where I reported the entire incident and gave the exact description to what happened. I guided the police to the establishment, gave them the keys, and they unlocked it as they drew their flashlights and guns, investigating the dark horror attraction as I followed them. The smell was horrible in the establishment, and I noticed something off. I saw a silhouette running past the doorway we were in front of, and I shouted for the cops to come look. We all found and cornered Springtrap in the corners, and he pulled up the mask, once again revealing the dead man inside of him. Springtrap pulled his mask back down as he told us that the man inside his suit was dead, and that all of us were about to be as well. He whistled, and a phantom version of Freddy, Bonnie, Chica the chicken, Foxy, a young boy animatronic, a broken version of Foxy, and the puppet thing I saw appeared in a circle around us. The cops and I all swore under our breaths, "Oh, shit," as Springtrap ordered for them to attack. They did, and I was knocked out as all that could be heard was shouts of pain, gunshots, and ghostly noises as Springtrap screamed and ordered the phantoms to keep attacking the cops as he did the same thing. The next morning, I found myself awake in my bed at home. I was confused as to how I ended up there, but it didn't matter, because I was out of that hell. I eventually found out that Fazbear's Fright was burned down to the ground, and I was more than relieved. Springtrap was never found, though, and nothing was ever heard from the phone man, or whatever his real name is. It still pains me at knowing that thing is still out there. All the phantoms were also gone with Springtrap. None of that shit really matters, though. They won't make it far before they run out of power.
Stop!